Okay. Hi, it's Jacqueline. I'm going to show you a technique that I use for dermaplaning. So this is going to help you step by step as you're learning to dermaplane, so you can see the flow that we typically have with the face and of course the angle that we're holding the blade. So we're going to go ahead and start on Tracy's forehead. And as you can see, I'm using my arm to move. And Tracy has beautiful skin cells. I'm not using my wrist. A lot of estheticians, they want to do this. In order to get an even plane, you have to use your arm. And don't be surprised when you're first learning if your arm here, it might ache at night, so you could probably just take an anti-inflammatory. So I started at the forehead in the corner here. I'm working my way over. And now you're going to work on different shapes of foreheads, and sometimes you're going to work on somebody that may have a background or ethnicity or heritage that their forehead will protrude more. You're going to find that with more of the Slavic community, and you're going to have to be a little bit more careful as their forehead's going to protrude up higher, so you're going to have to flatten out your blade as you work on those foreheads. So I have an exact pattern of how I'm moving. You want to slightly overlap, so you don't want to dermaplane too far apart or you're going to miss dead skin in certain areas and it's going to look like you've skipped areas. So you want to make sure you just slightly overlap with your blade. Okay, now that we have completed her forehead, I usually like to use a 4x4 gauze and dust off the dead skin. And then I'm going to wipe my blade on the towel or gauze beside me. And now I'm going to work on this side of her face. So some people sit or some people stand. It just depends on your comfort level. Now the skin is very thin here, so you always want to let up on pressure. And then you always want to go directly to the hairline so they don't have these little sideburns. Okay, so notice I work down. Now I'm going to come closer to her nose and I'm going to work across. Again, I'm on an area that could be sensitive for your client. It's a high plane of the face, so you want to always let up. And again, I'm coming straight across. Notice I'm stretching as I'm coming. Your stretch in dermaplaning is everything. The client feels your confidence when you have a strong stretch. Okay, now that I've done this section of her face, I'm going to go ahead and come up the chin and the jawline. We can go as far down if you want to dermaplane next. Further down, it's the same motion. You're flattening out your blade. It's a 3/4 angle. You notice usually your clients will have a lot of buildup down and through here because this is an area we don't cleanse well. And notice I'm just kind of lifting off as I come up. So I don't want to overlap my areas too much when I'm dermaplaning, or you can get what's called hot spots, which is an area that you've overlapped, or it's a high plane of the face that used too much pressure. Okay, now I've done this section of the face. Okay, so I'm going to move to her opposite side. Any type of mole, birthmark, you just want to lighten your pressure as you go over top of it. And again, this time I'm using, see, it goes in the skin, so you're going to use the curved part of the blade, where the rest of the skin, I'm using this flat section of the blade and less of the curve. What I love about 10 blades is the curve allows me to do the upper lip a little bit easier if the skin indents like that. It's way easier to do it than with the completely flat blade or straight blade. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same technique where I'm going from the nose. Now again, I'm using less pressure because I'm on the high plane of the face. And notice how I'm stretching as I'm moving. You want a nice, smooth, rhythmic feel to your dermaplane. Now if you get a little bit of dead skin buildup, you can kind of wipe it off the blade. Now notice because she protrudes, her skin protrudes here, I'm going to have to use that curve again. And again, I'm stretching. Always you want the skin as flat as possible. And I overlap just slightly here because she just has a little bit more dead skin cell buildup. Again, it's typical to see that in this area, just because when they cleanse, we're never good about working all the way back. So now I'm going to use the same, flatten out my blade. I'm going to go up the side of the neck to the jaw. This is the easiest way to do the jaw. You're going to have some people like myself who have a very square jaw, so I'm going to be a little bit more angular and more of a challenge for many people that dermaplane. Okay, so now I'm going to work on the center of her face. So there's a couple ways you can do the chin. Usually I like to split the chin in half, so I'm going to do the upper half. And if you have a client that has a larger lip, you can have them just kind of bite down or on their bottom lip for you, so it kind of helps stretch the area. Okay, so that is one half of the chin. The next half, you're going to turn your blade to the side. And you're going to dermaplane this way. If you're right-handed, you continue this way because it's going to be very hard for you to do it this way. And if you're left-handed, you would then take your blade and you're going to go this way. So it all depends on if you're right or left-handed for your motion. And then of course I'm going to do the tip just like I did the jawline. And now I've done her chin. If you split it in two, it's much easier. So now I'm going to do her upper lip. Go ahead and open for me, Tracy. I'm going to have my client go ahead and open more. I'm going to have my client stretch. And then this is how I get that corner where we have the little hairs. And notice she's got some dry skin right on the upper lip, probably from a treatment. Okay, open a little bit more. And again, I'm going to get, this again is where I'm using my curve of my blade. Now, again, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to come from a different angle. So for the upper lip, I'm going to stretch down and I'm going to move my blade up towards the bottom of her nose. All right. That's it. I hope this dermaplaning technique helps you, and happy dermaplaning.